You've obviously spoken to your parents about this, right?
I actually haven't. My parents know what I do, but I'm not on the phone to them every day going, oh, I just got DP'd, I'm 17 guys today, or this and that. They don't need to know the logistics.
Of course.
I do feel a little bit like embarrassed being like, Mom and Dad, I'm 100 guys. I do feel a little bit like embarrassed being.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Talk Podcast. Let's get started. We are continuing on understanding the mindset, and not only the mindset of this young woman, but, I'm trying to connect this. I'm using this as an example, connecting this to different topics that I have spoken about on my podcast, right? Whether it's feminism, whether it's hookup culture, whether it is social media, how we present ourselves and how, all these kind of things. And today, it's more about, it's a tough one, right? Because now we're tapping into the family idea. Now we're tapping into the inner struggle that this young woman is facing, right? And I'm repeating myself, this is not to bash her, because I'm telling you guys, this cannot be any worse, okay? Sometimes we all as human beings, okay, we tap into different kind of ideas, yeah? And we want to tell ourselves, this is the right thing. Think about anything. We all have that one thing that we've done, and we were sitting there trying to tell ourselves, this is the right thing. But your spirit, your body, everything of yourself, your being is telling you, no, this is not the right thing. I actually don't feel comfortable doing this. I actually don't feel comfortable sharing this, right? And now you're creating an inner conflict. You're struggling with shame. You're struggling with guilt. You're struggling with different kinds of emotions, right? And the worst part is when you are trying to sugarcoat it, because I'm telling you guys, there's nothing worse than lying to yourself. It is painful, 100%, when you lie to other people, your family and whatnot. It's very bad. It's painful. Think about whatever you've done in that sense. We've all been there. It might not have been this drastic example, but we all kind of have a story in mind. But also think about a situation where you have lied to yourself so bad and everything around you just wanted to hide. That's where we're going today.
Our filming was interrupted briefly by a phone call from Lily's mother. Apparently she calls Lily every day.
Mum always calls me every day. What have you been up to today? I'm just getting railed. What are you? No, they're just sort of checking in on me.
Why?
I guess because it's not really what my parents would have wanted me to do. Doesn't mean to say my parents are like gonna disown me or hate me or anything like that. I just don't want them to think less of me. Anything like that. I just don't want them to think less of me. Anything like that. I just don't want them to think less of me. You know? Like we can still be like very close and stuff like that, but I just don't think they need to know. Like,
you see, no one wants anyone to think less of them, right? But we need to try and understand, where would that idea even come from, that you standing in front of whoever and they might possibly think less of you, okay? Just follow me along. For that judgment to even come to pass, if that makes sense, you have already internalized that something about your choices possibly can create that emotion of, oh, I think less of you. Does that make sense? So there's something about your own judgment that already knows that you think less of yourself while doing this. Now, you just don't want other people to point that out to you. And in this case, it's her parents, it's family, it's friends, right? That would be even more painful, because with outside people, with strangers, I can see it being easier to just block it, right? Their judgment, I don't care. They're thinking less of me, I don't care. But with your close-knit people, your circle, of course, we all understand the fact that we would love to be, seen in the best way ever, held up, loved, all that good stuff. Now, this is something that it's difficult to talk about because why? We do not really know the family dynamics. I'm just assuming that every parent with their right minds will want to love their children. And us being humans, we want to come up with this idea of unconditional love, okay? Now let's take that and let's come with the idea that her parents, her family members, they are putting her in the position of, we love you still, we care for you, all that good stuff. But what choice is she making? Okay? Now this is a selfish idea that I'm putting out there because this young woman with her choice is not understanding or not taking into consideration that you're drawing your family into this. They're not with you on set, but you're drawing them into this. You know that they wouldn't want this for you. Surely they wouldn't want this for themselves, meaning they wouldn't want to be involved in this. But yet you're dragging them into this because you're talking about it, you're going on podcasts, you're using your family name, you're showing your face, it's known, you're not doing this in a hidden manner, it's all over the place. Do you see where I'm going with this? But yet you're standing there with the expectation that I do what I want, whatever consequences comes along, you guys are going to face it, but I want to stand there and not be judged, not be put in any box. Just don't think less of me while I'm putting you all in a position where other people and, can be thinking less of you. Because some people, as myself, are thinking, oh my God, where is her family? What happened? Does that make sense? Right? And also, let's just take it word for word or one quick example. They don't need to know the logistics, which I can agree. If you're doing some crazy stuff, of course, mom and dad don't need to know. We all kind of get that, right? That's the prime intention that comes like, ooh, they don't need to know. It's like, you should be at home by a certain time. You kind of sneak your way to come later. They don't need to know the next day. We've all been there. But this example, I know it's definitely far extreme, but we all get that first initial thought. They don't need to know the logistics, okay? But it's public. It's everywhere. Your siblings see it. Their friends see it. Your dad's co-workers see it. People know. You just created your bubble of, if I tell them they don't need to know, then that's what's happening. And that is a thing that I'll talk about towards the end, because that is not how life works. Look, you can do whatever you please to do, okay? It doesn't mean that you can control the emotion and the outcome consequences that comes along that you're impacting people with just because you think you want to do what you want to do.
Exactly every single detail.
Yeah. But they'll find out, right?
Yeah, probably, yeah. This is the thing, I think, with my career and stuff like that. We're not sat here talking about, I filmed this with today, or I filmed this, because there's just no need. I remember my dad saying, my friends talked about you, seeing you on or something like that, and they know, but there's just no point in being like, oh, I'm doing this or doing that.
Yeah. Are there days where you second guess it ever?
Not particularly. There are days where
So now listen carefully. The question is, do you sometimes second guess? Do you think about this and, oh, should I stop this? Is this the right thing? And her answer is not particularly. Not really. No, doesn't shake me at all. Not really. But follow and listen carefully what her answer is going to be. And after you've heard her answer, to me, if she was to be honest to, what she's fighting inside, the answer would have been, after he said, do you sometimes second guess? It should have been, yes, I do, a lot.
Not particularly. There are days where sat here on a Sunday, I am feeling a little bit more lonely. My friends have all got boyfriends. And I'm like, you know, I see a comment and people are like, God, no one's ever going to marry you or something like that. And that can definitely like make me feel a little bit like, oh God, have I chose the wrong career? But like, I just totally love my...
So she doesn't really think about this. She's not having any second thoughts if she's going to quit this. But you know, sometimes she thinks and sits there, catching herself sitting there, being lonely because all her other mates, her girls, have relationships and she's there on Sundays on her own, okay? Now, some people might not find this to be drastic. To be honest, I am very surprised that this is what her thought process is, that this is the fear that she's having, right? I've talked about this in some other episodes. I know people who are not into relationships, who don't care, who don't see marriage as valuable, all that good stuff, are not going to understand and are not going to agree with me, and that is perfectly fine. But people who actually understand what life is about, and life is about people, and especially the close-knit people that you surround yourself with long term, right? Your family towards the end of life. That is probably the most important thing ever. And it's mind-blowing to me that that is her scary moment that she catches herself in, with that thought, being left alone or being alone while everyone else gets to enjoy life with somebody in an intimate, genuine way, right? To be honest, I did not see this coming. I was thinking it's going to be like, oh, I'm scared sometimes because if I do second guess it, it could be because I'm thinking, how long can I do this money-wise? Like, you know, that she might lose the lifestyle. I was thinking it's going to be that sort of an answer, but it turned out to be what it is in most cases, okay? Now, if you follow my podcast, you've heard this. You've heard this so many times. It might not be this extreme example, but you follow a certain path, you join the feminist club, you turn out to be very extreme, you start lying to yourself about things that are natural to you, that you should... What is so bad to enjoy that? What is so bad to say, I want a partner, I want a man, I want to have family? You start dismissing the most natural feeling that you have to be loved, to be vulnerable. You want to be strong and independent. You want to take advantage of men because that is what you've been following. You want to do the same thing as they can. You want to finesse. You want to get the bag real quick. You know, all these languages, right? And you have been telling yourself, family is not meaningful. I don't need this. I don't need that. My career, okay, is going to fulfill me. But unfortunately, this is the outcome. It's bad. Right now, some people are going to be like, oh, she can still find someone. She's young. She's beautiful. True, she can. But there's something about that sentence that she said, knowing very well, she said, oh, no one's going to marry me. Now, someone might marry you. That's true. But let me tell you, without her saying that, she knows for a fact that the type of person that she would want to respect in her life wouldn't want to choose that. Because think back to how she was talking about not wanting to be looked down upon from her parents. This is not something her parents would have chosen for her. So she comes, let's just take it for face value or for her words. She comes from a decent background, okay? That's not what her parents would want for her. So growing up with that influence, that's not something you would want for your children, I'm assuming, okay? And knowing that is the right path that parents would choose for their kids, you understand that the man who thinks that way wouldn't choose you. Just think about it. And now you're fighting inner conflict. Now you need to keep lying to yourself that you love and enjoy so much what you're doing, not realizing that you're just digging deeper while you can actually still choose to stop, right? You can still choose to leave this life behind you, right? Is it going to be a switch and everything is all different? No, but you can still choose to say no to this. I don't know what you guys think about this. I would be so interested. We are continuing because I told you I'm taking this on a different level. This is turning out to be my documentary. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Job. But just like people talking about your body constantly, how you look. Every day someone like picking at you. I think that's the hard part. And also just the pure fact that people think so much less of you.
Yeah.
Before anyone ever meets you, they already perceive you to be something. I think now I'd find it hard to make friends in terms of like real friends that really just see me for who I am and not like, like porn star online, whatever.